locked things up a couple days ago as well. Suriname and Grenada, like I said, stuck in the garage. They've yet to get out of the blocks just yet, have not recorded a victory. Hopefully one of these teams can actually do that here tonight, though. And take a look at the overall atmosphere. These two teams actually got together back, all the way back, as we'd say, in September this year. September 8th to be exact. That was a 1-1 draw. In that contest, Suriname actually pushed their winless streak to 7 consecutive matches. During that time, too, they haven't registered, obviously, a victory, but they have 4 losses and 3 draws. So Suriname trying to get a victory here today, making it the worst run that they've ever had in Concacaf Nations League action. It was Suriname's 3rd consecutive home match without a victory in Concacaf Nations League action, so they were desperate to get something. They could not do it. Grenada obviously got a goal in that contest, pulling away with at least a point. But outside of that, when you look at the two teams and where they're at, we mentioned the one game that they played together on September the 8th. That match ended a 1-1 draw. But Cuba, well, they got the better of Suriname a few days after that. They played 4 days after on September the 12th. Cuba won that contest 1-0. And then Honduras got the better of Grenada, beating them up by a count of 4-0. So the teams haven't played and they haven't seen any kind of action for a month now when you look at it. Suriname and Haiti got locked up on Thursday night. They actually played to a 1-1 draw here, which is obviously a better outcome than a loss. But Grenada, they got trounced by Jamaica that same night. Jamaica got the better of them. 4-1 was the outcome in that contest. So when you look at what everything looks like top to bottom, you saw the wins, or lack thereof. You saw the losses, the draws, and the matches that were being played. But the other element that's involved is Grenada has a -7 goal differential. Suriname is only at -1. So you're figuring in a contest like this, Suriname's going to have the better chances, the more advantage in this contest. And for Grenada, they just need to hold on for dear life, turn any kind of mistake into a goal. But of course, that's what you're looking at if you're assuming you're scoreboard watching and looking at the breakdown of previous matches. Of course, here tonight, it'll be a completely different outcome depending on if these teams, these players, play to the best of their capability or the mere average. Both teams taking the bench right now. Grenada will be in their green uniforms tonight, the green and gold. Suriname will be in their white. A little bit of red, the green, and also the black around the letters and the numbers. Both these teams with their head official today and the rest of his crew meeting at midfield right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to pause. We're going to step aside for a couple minutes. The national anthems will be played. We'll come right back with introductions, also to the officials as well. It's Suriname and Grenada coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Grenada. Please remain standing for the national anthem of Suriname.
And so we are live here, Suriname and Grenada, ready to get things underway. League A, Group B. These two teams going to battle things out here tonight. One of these clubs, well, hopeful will get a W, but we wouldn't be surprised if a draw gets played out, just the way that these two teams have been beaten and battered. We're going to look at the starters from both these sides. Grenada, see the customary team shot, the starters tonight. 10 position players plus their keeper in net, so the starting 11 for them. Suriname as well. Let's take a look at Suriname. Warner Hahn in net here tonight. The 31-year-old was pretty darn good the other evening against Haiti. Saw a ton of traffic hit his way. They're going to roll tonight with a 5-2-3 for head coach Aaron Winter. But we'll see how things go along. Luciano Haps had the lone marker in that contest for Haiti. But all in all, 1-1 draw. Better than the defeat, of course. Let's take a look at the officiating crew today. Danyan Parchment is our head official. Christopher Mason will be out there as well. Nicholas Anderson, OJ Dehaney. Coin toss here is two captains meeting in midfield. Jacob Berkeley on one side for Grenada. And then, of course, Stefano Denswell for Suriname. So we take a look at Suriname. Let's take a look now at Grenada. Grenada starters here tonight with Belfon in net between the pipes. Jason will see if he can be a rock here this evening. They'll go with a 3-4-3 across the board. Trayvon Williams scored the lone marker for Grenada in that difficult battle with Jamaica. They lost that contest 4-1. It was really a troubling time too because Jamaica pounced all over Grenada early on that affair. Deshaun Bernard had a header in the 12th minute. It was actually off a set piece, a corner kick. And Belfon, who made the initial stop, it was driven in by Kevon Lambert. So it was unfortunate for him to have that kind of an outcome, but a fat rebound that was also doubled up in the 22nd minute. Shamar Nicholson banged home a nice pass over the right-hand side from Romario Williams, and it made it 2-0 before Grenada was even able to get on the board. They did with Williams' marker in the 30th minute, but outside of that, there wasn't really any kind of dramatics. We hope there are some here today as this contest now underway. Suriname moving from left to right on your screen. Grenada will be going from right to left in those wonderful green and gold kits. Temperatures at kickoff tonight, a comfortable 84 degrees, but the humidity is right around 80%. That header just goes a little bit off the mark. First dangerous point in this contest comes in the first minute. Becker a little bit off the mark as he face planted in disgust with himself. Look at it again. I mean, the velocity there from Becker on that header was perfect. And the reason why, he wasn't trying to do too much, just trying to put that thing towards target. First quality look, and it goes to Suriname, but they just missed, and Belfon escapes early. Suriname, as we mentioned to open up the show, a -1 goal differential. So that's the good. When you look at what their win, loss, and draw record is, you figure the numbers a little bit more and go deeper into their matches just to see exactly what they're up against and how they've been beaten. But overall, a couple points so far. Grenada only has the one. Jamaica with 2 victories so far. They're undefeated technically. They're 2-0-1 with 7 points. Haiti, who played to that draw with Suriname, has 3 points. Everyone has played 3 matches heading into today's contest. can go up and down League A to see who's doing what, but Trinidad and Tobago, pretty much one of the leaders of the pack along with Panama. Those two squads undefeated. Trinidad and Tobago, though, undefeated at 3-0, or Panama has the one draw, so they're 2-0-1. 7 points and 6 points respectively. Belfon here with the touch. Club team with Paradise FC International. And yes, a lot of these players do have club teams. The responsibilities with them. Long ball, nicely played. Belmar on the left-hand side. Trying to make a move, pulls the trigger, hits the wall, and it stays out. Havana got in front of it before it made its way towards Warner Hahn. Nicely played through again, though, for Becker. Becker, that one a little too loose on that right foot to go off, and it was jarred aside by Charles Cook. So we'll have a corner kick here for Grenada. Plenty of fans in attendance on a Sunday night. Kickoff at exactly 8 p.m. Eastern. Jermaine Francis, we'll see what kind of delivery he provides. For Grenada, bending in, going out, it's Warner Hahn. Came off his line immediately, and that two-hand swipe pushes it out of harm's way. And almost looked like for a moment Grenada was going to send 4 or 5 players from just outside the 18, like they were going to pole vault near the 6. And so Hahn did everything he could to avoid an ambush, and he did just that. Johnson trying to get creative with it. Nice job, though. DiViencio, Vanderkust getting in front of that play and nullifying Streaky Williams. Here's Francis. Francis again looking at the materializing just yet with these set pieces. There's Johnson over the left-hand side to Francis again. Francis with a nice move. Really getting tied up. Probably would have resulted in a yellow card too. Foul there though, and this will be a free kick as Bakboard got 2 hands on him. Navajo treating his counterpart in Francis not too kind. Well, even worse, you see the replay there. His right elbow going over the back of the head. Working short. Berkeley gave it up to Johnson. Johnson being sandwiched. He'll at least win that ball, and it will be a corner kick. Something we have observed over the last 48, 72, maybe even the 96 hours is that teams, even with the weather conditions right now, have played at a pretty rapid pace. Ooh, this header was dangerous. Nicely served in by Johnson. Suriname avoiding the pressure early. Johnson with that punch, it goes on, going to easy stop for Warner Hahn. The 31-year-old looks it into his crest and gets the offense going in transition immediately. Pretty good bend from Johnson on that. Seeing how to wiggle through. Backboard was on one end. Trying to provide at least a little bit of resistance from Johnson's shot. That was not the case. Now, speaking of backboard, see him in full-blown sprint mode. Peels us back over to Hahn. Match just underway. Glad you can be here with us tonight from Suriname. Fans in attendance, hoping to see some goals. For Suriname, desperate for a victory. Positive side of the ledger. And this will result in a goal kick. Grenada without a victory just yet. Winless streak now has ballooned up to 8, which is unfortunate for them. Head-to-head, when you look at the all-time series between the two nations, Suriname leads it. They've played 6 times to be exact. They have a couple victories and just 1 defeat, 3 draws. And oddly enough, we kind of spoke tongue-in-cheek about the lack of productivity from both sides. This is a dangerous move here. Whistle the foul results. Vilter being called for it. It's 20-on-20 crime right there as Berkeley went down. Back to the point where Maker was Suriname. Although they lead the all-time series with a couple of victories and 1 loss and 3 draws, their goal differential is only +1 over Grenada. Geophili Vilter with 10 markers for them. Paul's got a couple. Suriname so far, having played 3 matches. Warner Hahn has been awfully busy between the pipes. 21 stops so far. He has seen a ton of traffic coming his way. On the run here. Saw a pretty decent burst for open up this contest, but nothing ever since. That ball went off of a member of Grenada. It was rolling into Belfont. Quick look there at Vanderkust. Vencio Vanderkust trying to punish on that left-hand side as we've entered the 10th minute. Shots are even for the time being. Grenada's got 1 on target. Suriname does not. Darius Johnson was the one that did have that strike. Speaking of Johnson, here he is splitting 2 defenders. How about a third Johnson? He got held up, and it looks like a flagrant arm being flailed around with his right, and he is called for the foul. Get a cleaner look at that's flush. It is right on the kisser of Capel. Leandro bit the dust, and he was not embellishing one bit. Yeah, he got a mouthful of elbow from Johnson. Johnson didn't need to do that. I mean, there's one point if you're trying to sell it because you have a jersey being tugged, but that wasn't the case. Suriname trying to apply some pressure, working out wide. Again, tonight's deployment going with a 5-2-3, so a different look for them and Aaron Winter compared to Terrence Connor's team from Grenada. They say styles make fights. We'll find out. See the possession for Suriname at 68% to 32% for Grenada, but Grenada's had the better of the scoring opportunities, at least for the time being. Always have to preface that, right? Malone over to Becker on the right-hand side. Becker's the one that had the header in the first minute off a corner. One giveaway is good for another. Powell had it. Vanderkust gave that one away. Francis trying to be elusive. And this one comes back into the right foot of Belfont. Trying to switch the pitch. That didn't work either. Nice job by Paul. Vanderkust, left-footed punch. That one finds the back of the net. An absolute bullet from about 20 yards out, and Suriname is on the board. It's 1-0. Well, Vanderkust let that thing rip in the 12th minute, and he had no mistake about it. It was earmarked for that right-hand corner. Belfont had no chance on this. Not only was the rise exquisite, but the dip on it was even better. I mean, Belfont was reading it. He was on his toes. Vanderkust, he had too much buzz in that thing. So Vanderkust is on the board. Suriname with the early advantage in the 12th minute, 1-0. This all started because of some giveaways by both clubs. Most recently was Berkeley. And Suriname got exactly what they wanted for the hometown faithful. The first marker goes their way. Now we'll see if there's any kind of retort from Grenada. There's Johnson. Johnson's had a lot of spirit so far in this contest. In fact, the entire left-hand side of this formation for Grenada has displayed the kind of enthusiasm you'd like to have to begin a contest. But they've fallen behind the 8 ball early on. Vanderkust in the 12th minute, and it's 1-0. Nice play there, backboard. Able to get his left foot out in front. Tempo of this match is certainly dialed down now a little bit after that goal from Vanderkust. Pushing forward, possible lane to pull a trigger. Ball is loose, coming out. Belfont, he'll jump all over it. Time of stretch passing that we've seen in this first half. Belfont down. They get kicked. Not quite sure. Becker there might have been apologizing as we look back at the sequence. Yeah, the Becker there. I don't know exactly what is the displeasure about. Some real-time standings with the points. Jamaica now with 8. Honduras with 7. Cuba, if the result stays as is, Suriname would have 5, Haiti with 3, and Grenada with 1. That's, of course, if things stay the way they are. Keep in mind we're only in the 16th minute, making our way to the 17th. Grenada so far, like where they have been compared to Suriname, they've played in 13 Concacaf Nations League matches, 14 tonight, and they're not at 500. And no, they're not over 500 either. 4 victories all time, 5 losses and 4 draws. And much like many of the teams that are in the bottom portion of their respective groups and leagues, they just don't have consistency on the offensive end. Jamal Ray Charles leads them all time with 7 strikes. Those 7 goals, there's nobody else even close. Trayvon Williams, who scored a couple nights ago, has 1. It's the second highest score all time for Grenada. So you can figure that out. Their goal differential, including tonight so far, -17. Belfon all time coming into tonight's contest, 42 saves. So he's been busy. That's why he's called upon to be between the pipes. He had 3 saves against Jamaica in that 4-1 loss. Overall, his save percentage isn't bad. It's 84%. But all in all, you can only do so much as a keeper if your team not scoring at all. But the night is young here. Vanderkust with his strike in the 12th minute. This could result in a booking. Swallowing his whistle, Christopher Mason. Fell his play on, apparently. Francis, who went down. Maybe he didn't sell it good enough. We'll never know. Chip shaken away quickly by Johnson. Belmar to Berkeley. Berkeley couldn't flag it. And then on the retreat, Vanderkust. Nicely played. That feed going loose, and Becker was streaking down the middle of the pitch, wanted to get it. Suriname has it for the time being. Becker here. Pretty good separation. Touch passing. Paul slipped for a moment. Pitch conditions look pretty good here tonight. Becker on the cross. Belfon talking to his back line. Pretty good communication there. The end result's going to be a corner kick for Suriname. Had a quick look at Josh Gabriel. Sadrell Lewis, Carlton Belmar, Jermaine Francis, the 2 strikers on the outside in between Francis. 3 forwards in this formation tonight. Second corner kick for Suriname. Nicely placed in the back post. Belfana's on the back side, loose up. Curiosity rather high as Christopher Mason blew his whistle. Abena called for the foul. Take a peek at Belfon again. Always troubling as a keeper when you're on your backside. You have nowhere to go. Paul called for the foul. Belfon was caught between a couple players, and so no chance of seeing that ball into his hands. Suriname with no numbers. Pretty decent positioning, but Charles Cook called for the foul, and this will result in a free kick from a decent spot too, as Haps was playing with positioning there in front of Charles Cook. See who takes this one. It will be Becker. Becker working short. Peels off. That cross never materialized. We'll see what Becker provides. Becker, quick stutter, good with the left foot, headed around, more contact inside the 18. Abena was there. Becker, not even with his dominant foot. But Abena with that header, trying to climb the ladder of a Grenada defender for that second goal. Speaking of that, Suriname can get a second marker in this first half. That could really dimmer the spirits of Grenada.
Bobby, it's no good standing there. Get up to the ball.
Bad enough to be down a goal in the first couple minutes, conceding one in the 12th minute. When your team hasn't had a great deal of success scoring the ball. Unforced error there. Johnson called with a little shove. No, I beg your pardon. It went the other way. Capo called for it. Let's take a better look at this. I mean, you can make the argument that both players were, it's a 50-50 ball. I'll make that argument. It is a 50-50 ball. Capo and Johnson. Bad pass. Belmar was expecting something better from Berkeley, didn't get it. 25th minute. If you're just joining us, Suriname on a corner kick. Geraldo Becker just missed the left bar. And that was in the first minute. Juvencio van der Kust scored in the 12th minute on a strike about 20 yards out. Beating Jason Belfon, top shelf to the right-hand side, making it 1-0. Grenada's tried a couple stretch passes. And they've had a couple decent looks towards target, but nothing obviously has materialized yet. More open real estate, though, and perhaps a little miscommunication on that situation will result in a corner. Got some player locators at least in the 6 and the 18. Becker is going to take this corner. And the nice part is you can hear a lot of the communication between both sides. Becker, high arcing, looking in the middle of the park. Van der Kust again with the left foot, and that one's on the goal line. It goes in. Well, the strike from Van der Kust was an absolute bullet. Lilter was the one that knocked it in on the rebound, but we look back on this, it went flush off the crossbar, and Belfon, who went up for it, got the right hand to keep it at least out for the time being, but the rebound was too pure. Lilter comfortably and easily put it home. Set piece, Suriname with a 2-0 advantage here in the 27th minute. So Grenada mentioned how they can't concede another goal. That's exactly what they did. And now they got a mountain to climb. Keep in mind, when these two teams played back on September the 8th, it was a 1-1 draw. Definitely not going to happen here tonight. That back line, steering it away is Gabriel. Club's really on edge, Grenada. Johnson here. Darius trying to hold off a defender. A little upset with Capel drafting him a bit. So Vluter in the 26th minute. Vanderkust before him in the 12th. Trying to go between two defenders. Couldn't. Williams trying to provide some support. He does. Johnson has it. So at least you have a couple there for Grenada trying to win that ball. May have successfully. Eric over on the right-hand side. Trying to work from one side of the pitch to the other. Ball taken away. Charles Cook had a crease and just couldn't dribble his way through some traffic. But give a great deal of credit to Haps, who was in front. Williams now. You can see the separation for Grenada, or lack thereof, offensively. Charles Cook. And that ball is just punched into the parking lot somewhere. Just hope it doesn't hit a windshield, right? Or a harmless pedestrian walking. All's fair in this game, that's for sure. High up, settled down. Opportunity cleared away by Suriname. Bedell. Could hear a lot more of the coaching staff on each of their respective boundaries, talking to their teams. Johnson. Good agility here from Darius. He is just being harassed by Suriname's back line, isn't he? Well, one thing, if anything, for Grenada right now is they've sort of switched the tempo of this contest and also ramped up their possession. That's the good. The bad is they're staring down the barrel of a 2-0 deficit. Belfon here. Pretty good transition. At the end of this first half, we'll have some stats and we'll also have some highlights. So make sure you hang with us for a few. Play this thing wire to wire. Johnson with a crease. That pass. You got two players for Grenada that were spun around, and no whistle, no foul. The official tonight, Christopher Mason, tells the players to get up, so they do. Johnson finally getting back to his area. Cedro Lewis. He, along with Trayvon Williams, the only players that have scored a goal so far in Concacaf Nations League action this year. See the contact down there, and foul going against Bedell. Getting a lot of this action, at least for the time being, is close to 50-50, and then Bedell there with the leg sweep against Becker, and he knew it. Didn't provide much of a argument there. Suriname looking for a third marker before the end of this first half. See who takes this. Could be Becker. It won't be. Belfon coming out. Eric knocked it away. Oh, this right-footed punch, Belfon got the initial stop. The rebound denied, walking the goal line, and it gets past him and all of Grenada. It's now 3-0 Suriname. Just too much steam on that. Abena puts it home. A sharp angle shot. Belfon looked like he got most of it, but not enough. And we're gonna beat down here tonight. As we look back at the sequence, Belfon reading that ball cleanly out the right foot. The second one, Bedell came back and sliding back as he could. There's no e-break for him. Goal occurring here as we near our way towards the end of the first half. Interesting enough for Belfon, it didn't look like he was comfortable with that ball. What I mean by that is his hands weren't up all the way. It almost looked like he tried to cup the ball. Bena giving the hometown faithful something to scream about. His goal in the 35th minute has opened this thing wide open. 3-0 Suriname. We've seen some one-sided tilts throughout. And this thing is now teetering on that. Which is odd to say because there's a lot of players for Grenada who have not played bad so far. But Belfon's been victimized numerous occasions tonight. Francis twirling about, he's called for the foul. I don't know how much of a push that was for Francis. Of course, when you have your arms fully extended, that's where you might get beat and called for that. And the end result was the case. This will be offside. Fans have seen 3 goals, are looking for a 4th. That's why that pass sprung loose for Becker, but Becker was a couple feet offside. playing a little cat and mouse there.
Stay up there, Charlie. Stay there. Stay up. Stay up. Play on.
38th minute. It's been a pretty free-flowing match. Yes, there's been a little bit of physicality, but nothing with major malice. A couple plays that have rendered attackers offside. Belfon slips and falls on the turf as he cleared this thing away. Grenada looking for an offensive moment of brilliance. But they have been tattooed so far in this first half. Abena, who just scored in the 35th minute. Vanderkust and Vluter in the 26th. Berkeley. Nice chip to Johnson. Johnson trying to get behind two different defenders is Belmar. And we have foul and a contact play just outside the box. That was really close. Yeah, Belmar wasn't embellishing there. It was like he was caught between two brackets in a wooden fence. But this is a delicate spot now for Suriname to defend. Question is, who's going to take this free kick? Berkeley is there along with Darius Johnson. I would imagine the way he's performed, I'd give it to Darius. Jermaine Francis over to the left-hand side, also there, chatting a bit. Figuring if it is going to be on this approach, Johnson, he's putting this thing over the wall to the left-hand side. Spawn, you see him lined up between the sticks, more shooted towards the right. So we think Johnson is going to hook this thing over the wall. Johnson lets that thing rip, and a good stop by Han there. He didn't cheat at all, did Warren. Interesting approach there from Johnson, because he had enough buzz on that ball to beat Han. But the question is, did he have the confidence to go up and over the wall and to have it drop down? Of course, the proximity of that free kick changes things a lot, because you're talking about pulling the trigger just outside the 18. But if you do it from maybe a couple yards out, that gives you a little bit more comfort. Comfort in the sense that you know you can get it over the wall and have a downward dip to it. It's the action that changes once it goes over the wall that you're curious about. 41st minute. Grenada been hit with a hammer so far. Suriname looking to pour it on too. Slight frustration. Slight as it is. This happens over the course of a long contest. Eric there.
Yellow card is for number 15 from Grenada, Jermaine Francis.
Booking here for Francis.
Watch me, watch me. Watch me. Watch me to the right.
First yellow card of the contest. That post again, Belfon with two hands. That's what he tried to do on the goal scored by Abena. But he didn't have his hands turned sharply enough to do the same thing. corner kick here for Suriname. Belfon vacated his net. Fans thought there was contact inside the 18 against Suriname. That was not the case, as Christopher Mason says, we're going back the other way, guys. Yeah, Luther there. We'll check and see with the fourth official, Danny on Parchment, what he's going to provide for stoppage time. Grenada would love to get to the locker room with a goal before they chat, but it doesn't feel like that's going to happen, just the way it's been so far. Played through to an open, vacant area. Belfon coming out of collision there. Oddly enough, Luther giving chase, but no harmful contact. See Belmar running back into the left-hand side. We'll go in the middle of the park. Nice casual touch. Here's Johnson. Johnson has had two good opportunities. Well, it looked like near like a handball for Johnson, but kept it away. Thing was just riding up on his shoulder. This thing's sent back to where it came. Eric with a nice hurdle. The chip in the box. Hovering around, looking for it was Lewis. A brief moment. Lewis destabilized. That'll be a foul.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official on the sideline has indicated that there will be a minimum of 2 minutes of added time.
There you go, 2 minutes of added time. Again, make sure you stay with us at the end of this half. We'll have some stats and some highlights. It looks like Suriname in no kind of mood to push this thing forward. On here, and he'll just wait, burn some clock. Grenada not doing anything to help their cause either. Watch out. Open moment, that's going to be an own goal. I mean, they weren't really trying to pour it on in that situation, but they were given something, and they promptly took it, and Suriname in blowout fashion, leading now 4-0. I mean, it's a ball that was won by Haps. The chip Miscommunication there. Belfont coming off his line, but still, it can't happen in the closing seconds. But an own goal there. Badeau, the guilty end. You know, lack of communication gives Suriname that goal. That's how these things happen, though. So we have a beatdown in progress in the first half. Mercifully for Grenada has come to a close. 4-0 is the score. An own goal during added time. Abena, Vanderkust, and Vluter all before that. With 45 minutes in the books, and Suriname leading Grenada by a count of 4-0. We'll be back.
every game on the Concacaf website. Visit concacaf.com and you can follow Concacaf on their social platforms. Get ready for the second half. Suriname versus Grenada. Substitution for Grenada.
Second half is now official. Grenada down a bundle. 4-0. Suriname with the advantage. 4 goals scored in that first half. One of them an own goal, but outside of that, Abena, Vanderkust, and Vluter have all done the damage, but Grenada simply have not been able to make the most of their opportunities. They've had several chances, most of them off the foot of Darius Johnson, but he's been the only guy that has shown any kind of flair. And Grenada's made a few changes here to start this second half. Telesford announced for Jermaine Francis, so 6 in, 15 is out if you're scoring it. The other one, Cairo Mitchell. So Mitchell in, Lewis out, 9 for 10. Those are the 2 changes.
Leading the game is Leandro Capon, number 16, and entering is Mark Joseph Soul, number 7.
Don't know if there'll be any changes for Suriname during the next 15-20 minutes. I mean, they played a comfortable style of ball. They didn't overextend themselves offensively. That should be a foul, and it is. Williams, who's had a challenging night, called for it here. A blatant trip. Vanderkust dropped to his knees. But back to the performance from Suriname. They haven't overextended themselves. I mean, tonight when you look at how they came out situationally, it came out with a 5-2-3. And, for all intents and purposes, they played it to true fashion. They caught Grenada off on several occasions and were able to counter with goals. And the own goal was a perfect indication of that, too. Let's see what they have in store for us on this instance. Into the lane, that shot just rejected him the way through. Berkeley had it for a moment. Didn't have the proper separation as he went right through the center of the 18. But it was fun to see Suriname at least perform the way they did. For a team that hasn't won a match yet, in League A Group B. Grenada hasn't either, but someone's going to win tonight. And barring a major miracle, Surinam's going to get said win. Grenada, with what they did right in the first half, I know you see the score and it being 4-0. It's not to say that they were completely flat and they were just brutal. They had chances to create. Speaking of creating, that's an easy stop being made there by Belfon. But Grenada in that first half, they had a couple of nice stretch passes that went a good 40, 50 yards. And most notably, Johnson and Belmar were the two players that went on runs. Unfortunate for them, though, they didn't have the kind of support or the payoff that would provide a goal. So when you act almost as a lone wolf in many of instances, unless you do something special, it's hard to have a significant impact offensively. Vanderkust. It's a pass for Paul. Just goes a little too high and wobbly. All the way through and on the retreat backboard. You see Vanderkust there. Scored the first goal of this match in the 12th minute. A beautifully laced shot with his left foot. Belfont in no mood to hurry up. Looks to be offside, and that's exactly the case. That would not have counted anyway. Johnson took it for good measure. See the action here. Official will let him play on at least for the moment. That's going to result in a foul, though. I think in that instance, if you're Christopher Mason, the lead official tonight, you might want to see how the play unfolds. Haps did a good job at least pushing this thing forward. Luther was going to get to it, but Mason blew the whistle. And so now a free kick in a dangerous part of the pitch, not straight away. So depending on who you are, if it's Haps or Becker, you could take a shot towards target here. Or loft something towards the back post, anticipation of a header. I don't know, we'll find out. Chef's choice, as they'd say in this instance. Surinam's got 5 in the 18. 2 just outside of it. Becker has it bending in, but skying up as Belfon. He read that ball all the way. I'd say good play by the keeper. Belfon's been hit with a hammer on several occasions tonight, so it's good to see him read the ball well off that right foot of Becker. numbers count so much. So even a save percentage that's been severely crippled tonight can improve, but you don't want it to if you're in this spot, Belfont anyway, meaning you don't want more shots coming your way. But we're here to see if Grenada can get on the board and make this thing competitive. The difference between the two squads tonight hasn't been that wide of a margin. Of course, you look at the score and you think, well, you're crazy for saying that, but the difference tonight has been one team is successful on making the most of their opportunities, and the other is not. And keep in mind, neither of these teams have registered a victory just yet in Group B. So it's not like Suriname's a world beater and Grenada's just bottom of the basement. But at least the way that things look now, Suriname is going to continue their winning ways against Grenada. They came in tonight with 3 victories. It's going to be 2 victories out of 6 contests, but 3 draws. Tonight will be their 3rd. And they'll get a little separation when it comes to the goal differential. And more importantly as well, Suriname is going to snap their winless streak of 8 matches. Again, that's assuming we reach full time and Grenada doesn't come back with 4 goals here in this half. Williams places it back to Badeau. Charles Cook. Herrick. They swing things around the pitch, looking for a bit of a buildup. They were looking for Mitchell there. Mitchell acknowledging it. Berkeley. Giving up Mitchell. Mitchell pivoting and weaving his way. Foul being called there. Slight delay in that call. Bachboard not too happy with it. You can see the expression. Don't want to read his lips. But yeah, it's a blatant foul. Cross headed down. Grenada staying with it. 4 still in there. That ball rolling around, it stays out at the last moment. Well, Han got bailed out by his defense. Clean sheet still intact. Suriname trying to get one of their own. We'll take a look at that again when we get a chance. A lot of congestion there. Jamaica now up to 10 points. Honduras with 7, got a player down for Grenada. Is that Belmar? That is Belmar. Yellow card's been issued. And that's away from the play, and Belmar not happy at all with what happened. Denswell is to his right. I wonder if Stefano was the one that delivered a shot to his face. We don't have a look on it, so unfortunately we can't push the rewind button.
Hey, what the fuck is this? Hey, what is this? Hey, what is this? What is this? You have a foul by your captain. A foul? Why you continue playing and then after 5 minutes you wait for the foul?
Free kick here for Berkeley. Coming out, Hahn, nice play pushing it out, but a wide open lane, and that shot from Williams is airmailed. He had a lane in the crease to pull the trigger, and Williams, you can see the disgust in his eyes, missed it. So he was down for Suriname. Good job by Hahn to push this thing out. He run over Becker. Another substitution here. Dion Phillip gonna make his way in. Williams will depart.
Substitution for Grenada.
See Phillip entering the fray.
Number 17.
I'm going to imagine there'll be a lot more changes as this night goes along, especially for Grenada. They've had 3 so far. So Phillip, Mitchell, and Telesford all in for Grenada. Those are the 3 changes for Terrence Connor. Capel on the intercept. Vanderkust played it well. Paul here. Paul with a lane. Paul breaking through. Touched off for a moment. Suriname just looking to add more insult to injury now with a 4-goal margin. This one rolled through, but possession's not held by Suriname. It'll result in a goal kick as the fans getting a great treat out of this. When everything is flowing well, anything goes. Could hear the looks. Grenada trying to apply some pressure here, but overall, as we're in the 64th minute, they've only had a few flurries and only one here in this half. Pressing through. Suriname looking for the cross, just off the mark. That would have been the cherry on top. Telefon had no chance on that header. See the look. Gozun all smiles after that header. Haps with a good delivery his way. Settled down nicely, but Suriname trying to pour it on. Haps. Great spin move. Fans cheering on Luther with a splendid move. Haps. Becker here. Becker trying to get cute. Nothing was to no avail. Been an inspiring night of ball for Suriname. They're asking for offside as Grenada. Top of the box. Insult to injury, and he got it there. 66th minute. Tic-tac-toe passing. Vluter with a second here tonight. 12th all-time in Nations League action. 5-0 Suriname. Well, the fans have been treated to something nice tonight. One way to snap your winless streak. You do the damage here just like that. Now we're going to take that goal off the board. We had one official that was talking about it. Charles Cook going back post. That thing just sailing away. So they do take it off the board. Interesting enough, the far side official didn't have his flag up at all. They didn't have a conversation about it until Vluter scored. Benjamin Etienne's going to come in. Charles Cook will depart. So another change. 2 in, 16 out.
Leading the game is Roman Charles, group number 16, and entering is number 2, Benjamin Etienne.
See the official announcement there.
Next speler.
69th minute. Suriname looking for more heat here. That cross just a little bit too out in front, pushed away by a Belfort. Or ETN, I beg your pardon. So this is the offside call. The far side official who's not in our picture didn't have his flag up, but then the conversation after that was exactly the case. And you can see the way that this pace has gone. It certainly changed from a sprint to a walk. Another change. This one is going to be for Suriname. Kelvin later on. Later on coming in. Backboard departing. So 18 for 14. Aaron Winter making the change now. It's about as complete a game that you can ask for Suriname. Winless so far, and they'll get their first W here tonight. They have about 20 to 25 minutes worth of activity left in this contest. Keep in mind, we'll have full-time stats and some highlights at the conclusion of this thing. Feels like we've had all the highlights we can muster up in the opening half. And if you can get a glimpse of the action earlier, Concacaf does a fine job on their YouTube platform for matches and highlights across Nations Leagues. That ball never had a purpose off the right foot of Phillip. That thing looked like it was destined for the stands. Leader him. So Leardom is the first change for Suriname. Good play, though, by Hahn. Streaking down the middle of that left-hand side was Darius Johnson. And Johnson's been so good. Gotta feel bad in this instance where he's trying to carry the load and can't. Players getting twisted and tied. Here's ETN. And again, it doesn't feel like Grenada is trying to provide much of an influence in this score. Hasn't been a lot of pressure at all. Mitchell was open for a moment. Now on the right-hand side, here's ETN. ETN trying to go on a run. Berkeley, again, pushes this thing backwards. So any attempt for a build-up here just doesn't have a purpose. You see that there. Poor execution, and you're left scratching your head. This cross, wow, just a poor insert on one end. And an excellent one there for Suriname. Here the fans getting more engaged as this night goes along. They've been cheering all evening, and for good reason. Man down the ground is Josazun, who's on the pitch, not getting up. While we have a moment, just to kind of give you an update, at least on one spot, League A and Group B, real-time placement. Jamaica with 10 points, Honduras with 7, Suriname, Cuba with 5, Haiti with 3, and Grenada with 1. Just 1. Johnson and Belfon, two guys that have really been stuck on an island, no pun intended. Wasn't a hydration break, but felt like everyone took it. Well, this match has been decided, and it has for some time. You'd love to see if Grenada can provide any kind of inspiration, a flicker of hope, or even create some doubt into the minds of Suriname. But being down 4-0, I'm afraid that mountain is too high to climb. If you're down 2-0, probably. 3-0, doubtful, and 4-0, definitely not. But with this game not being in reach, it does feel like, at least for the time being, both clubs are just playing this thing out and seeing if they can tack on something if there's an opportunity that presents itself. Look back at this with Becker as he goes down. Caden Herrick playing his ball at Queens Park Rangers FC. Hasn't had a good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the total attendance for today's match day is 1,285. We want to thank you as fans who have attended the 2023-2024 Concacaf Nations League.
Becker here. Back post, nice header away by Johnson. Suriname, though, holding possession here. Ben Swill. It'll be a throw-in. Etienne didn't start this match, came in the second half. He fared pretty well. Haps. He's delivered a couple sweet balls from the outside on the wing. And now Suriname gonna recycle this thing through. Yeah, they work quickly, don't they? Haps want to get it back, he didn't. Vanderkust. Volter. Then they just peel back. Just quick touches. Vanderkust. Went down the middle of the pitch and should have received it. That ball coming his way, a little too hot to handle, and this is going to result in a corner kick, though. Unable to control was Josh Gabriel. See the look on his face. Takes this corner. Becker's there along with Haps. Haps, the left foot, much better. A one hopper, never had a chance. 80th minute. And now it's a question if Suriname's able to run away with a clean sheet on the board tonight. Feels like this thing hasn't been in doubt for a while. Maybe even when Vanderkust scored. Might be too cold to say. Belfon had to juggle it for a moment. Johnson, who's down. Looks like his night's over with. And now we get the changes. Haps. Pinas in. So Pinas is in. Pinas in, Haps out.
And entering is number 21,
Shaquille Cairo coming in. Gets a nice little standing ovation. Joshua Isaac here.
Leading the game is number 7, Darius Johnson, and entering the game is Joshua Isaac, number 8, in the 82nd minute.
Isaac in for Johnson. Johnson looked like he probably cramped up. You saw him take the tape off his wrist. Right to Han. Warner hasn't been tested a whole lot. ETN with a nice intercept here. Eric, top of the box. If I go off the hand, it might have been from Mitchell. Got a great look from our crew there. More dancing for Suriname. That shot, Belfon with a nice stop. A rare treat for Grenada. Foul in midfield. And Suriname still looking for more offense. Pretty sweet hesitation. Joseph Zun, who had it. Off the back line, that shot going short side of the attempt by Mitchell. He would have had to have some amazing accuracy to register a goal there. So we're moving our way now into the 86th minute. I want to be curious to see what stoppage time is allotted. Been 5 changes so far for Grenada. Suriname with a couple. 3 to be exact. This cross the header. Sweeping away at the last minute was Etienne. No, Etienne didn't give up on the play. Otherwise, that would have been 5. It was lost for a moment from Badeau. And Etienne right there on the goal line. '87th minute here. Suriname's going to get their first victory in Group B, League A. Take a look at full-time stats after this contest is wrapped up, along with a few highlights. It'll be all Suriname. To midfield. Telesford throws us back. Yeah, there just hasn't been anything in this half from Grenada, as that pass just well out in front of Etienne.
Substitution for Suriname in the 88th minute. Leaving the game is number 11. Thiago Becker, and entering is number 10.
Jamilio and Rick Deers coming in. Becker departing. Suriname pretty much emptying their bench. 10 for 11. Now they've made 4 changes. 89th minute. Well, Etienne trying to work fast. It's the first time Grenada has even operated like this in the second half. Etienne. And now Suriname's going to have none of that. Quickly is Cairo coming back. Suriname going to try to exploit again on a counter. Ping pong action here in the 90th minute. We'll check and see. Only the one guy that was down was Darius Johnson for an abbreviated time. 3 minutes of stoppage time. And that'll be that. There really has been a tale of two halves. First half, we saw a wave of action. Felt like jumping on the interstate during rush hour. And then here in the second half, it's been anything but. There might have been 2 good chances combined from each squad. But that's been it. And Grenada just playing this thing out. So they're going to have another loss in their resume, still stuck on 1 point. Suriname's going to have 5. And more importantly for them, they're going to have obviously their first win in the group, matching wits now with everybody else in said group. Jamaica being the leader, Honduras obviously there, Haiti. This punch from well outside, never had a chance from Berkeley. That thing slicing about 10 feet away from target. Just about a minute to go. Got to tip your cap to Suriname. They turned this thing into a laugher. It was competitive and then just took the wind out of the sails of Grenada. 2 goals in a 14-minute span proved to be the difference. Vanderkust going to have the game-winning goal in the 12th minute. Little excitement there from Herrick. Not too pleased with the tugging and pulling from Vanderkust. But the match is over. Christopher Mason going to look at his watch, look down and say, fellas, that's a wrap. And he does it right now. So mercifully, this thing is over. Grenada got absolutely tattooed tonight. Suriname, from wire to wire, the better team. And obviously in the first half is when they really stuck their foot in the ground and beat up Grenada. Final score here tonight, Suriname 4, Grenada nothing. Vencio Vanderkust with a game-winning goal in the 12th minute. Lilter in the 26th, Abena in the 35th. 47th minute, Badeau with an own goal. But that's it. Close up shop here. Suriname victorious here tonight. They're all smiles, and their effort provided a lot of fruit for them. So big congratulations to them, and also Aaron Winter getting the W here tonight. It was well earned and deserved. They looked like the better team. And while their energy was matched in certain instances by Grenada, it wasn't good enough. Suriname got it done. Final score again here tonight. Suriname 4, Grenada nothing. So we take a look at full-time highlights in this thing. Suriname and Grenada, last time they got together in the month of September, they played to a 1-1 draw. Vanderkust from outside the 18 had this thing pegged for the right-hand corner, and that was the game-winning goal in the 12th minute, beating Jason Belfon, who was under a siege of pressure. Well, that shot made it 1-0. Vanderkust's second shot was tapped in after it hit the crossbar. Luther knocked it in, his 11th career goal of Concacaf Nations League action for his nation. A goal occurring in the 26th minute as they add to the pressure. Abena had that one roll in, just overpowering Belfon. That goal occurred in the 35th minute of the first half, and that made it 3-0 Suriname. And by that point, you kind of had the idea that the game was over. The own goal here in the 47th minute, that was just icing on the cake, but you get the idea. Lots of counters being thrown by Suriname, and they were dancing and bobbing and weaving all night long, and they walk off the pitch. Grenada floundering around. Second half really wasn't that much different either. There was a couple of chances, but it was all from Suriname. Overall, that one placement, Warren Hahn got bailed out by his team. In fact, you look at that final moment, Haps stopping a goal. Otherwise, a pretty clean effort on the other side for Suriname and Warren Hahn, who earned himself a clean sheet on the night. And Suriname, given the fact that they had a 4-goal advantage, they played their way in the second half, did what they wanted, and they won this sucker by a score of 4-0. So that's going to do it here as we take a look at some of the final numbers in this 4-0 demolition of Grenada. Suriname with 10 total shots, 5 of them on target. Pretty decent in terms of physicality, 14 fouls, for Suriname and 9 for Grenada. Overall possession going to Suriname. Their efforts provided to be too much on the night. Pretty decent talent. But of course, the effort far superior than Grenada, and they get their first victory, snapping a 7-game winless streak, and they win here tonight by a final score of 4-0. Hope you enjoyed this one. We'll catch you again on Tuesday when Concacaf Nations League action continues. Good night, everyone.